Welcome to the Deep Dive. You gave us the keys to the kingdom this week, a snapshot of the global entertainment engine, and we are going straight into the massive library data provided by Netflix.
We are.
Specifically, we're diving deep into the global top 10 movies list for the week of November 10th through 16th, 2025.
That's right. And our mission today is, I think, a bit more sophisticated. We aren't just summarizing a list.
Oh.
We're using the three core metrics Netflix gives us, total views, the film's runtime, and the resulting hours viewed, to really understand the physics of streaming success.
The physics. I like that.
Yeah, what does Netflix actually value more? Is it the number of people who press play, or is it the total amount of collective human attention they can generate?
And the context here is just so critical because this data isn't, just a regional list of favorites. It's a genuine worldwide metric.
It is.
Our source material confirms this top 10 aggregates viewing from dozens and dozens of countries. We're talking Canada, Mexico, Brazil, all the way to India, Japan, the UK.
It's a vast aggregated metric. And, speaking of aggregation,
Yep.
It is worth noting the methodology they mention in the sources.
Right.
The rankings are grouped regionally based on the United States Statistics Division. And this detail, it's important because it tells you that even a global list, quote unquote, still relies on these established frameworks for classification.
Which helps them segment things.
Exactly. It helps Netflix segment and sell advertising or tailor regional content. So it's a global list, but it's got a highly structured back end.
Okay, let's jump straight to the action. We have to start with the raw numbers because the top rank this week isn't just winning, it's establishing an almost unbelievable level of dominance.
It's absolute saturation. The number one film, which we know from the sources is The Beast in Me, is described as playing mind games at number one.
And it's been there for a bit, right?
It has. It's held that top spot for 2 consecutive weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And the raw viewership is just immense. 33.8 million views in only 7 days.
33 million. That is not just a success, that's a cultural phenomenon for that week. I've seen a lot of data sets, but the gulf between rank 01 and the rest of the field here is historically large.
It really is.
To put it in perspective for you, you could take the views of rank 02, rank 03, and rank 04, stack them all up, and they would still fall short of The Beast in Me's total.
And this is where that runtime conversation becomes so crucial. This film is long.
How long are we talking?
We're talking 2 hours and 32 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that combination of massive initial reach, the 33.8 million views, gets amplified by that lengthy runtime.
And the result?
A truly staggering 85.5 million hours viewed globally.
That 85.5 million hours, it's not just a number, it's a commitment. That is the collective equivalent of nearly 9,700 years of continuous viewing time poured into one film in 1 week.
Exactly. And that is why Netflix greenlights these longer, highly anticipated films. They're not just looking for a momentary spike in traffic.
No, it's more than that.
They are seeking to capture and hold massive quantities of our collective attention. That's what drives the perceived value for you, the subscriber.
So let's look at the steep, steep cliff right beneath that dominance.
Yeah.
The film at rank 02, which, funnily enough, was number one the week before this.
What was, yeah?
It saw a huge drop-off.
Yeah.
It logged 12.8 million views.
Which is still a huge number, 12.8 million. But notice the impact of the runtime difference here.
Right.
Rank 02 was a much tighter film, only 1 hour and 31 minutes. So when you couple that natural decline in popularity with that shorter runtime, the hours viewed metric absolutely plummets.
To what?
To 19.4 million.
So let me get this straight. The Beast in Me generated over 4 times the total hours viewed compared to the film right below it.
That's right.
Even though the viewership difference was only about 2.5 times as large, the runtime really, really matters. And we haven't even hit the key data point yet.
We are getting there. But
Right.
first, let's quickly acknowledge Rank 03. It pulled in a very solid 11.6 million views, translating to 19.3 million hours.
Almost the same hours as number 2.
Almost identical. But the real story here is the endurance. This title has been in the global top 10 for a massive 22 weeks.
22 weeks! That is remarkable longevity. That tells me this isn't about some viral marketing blitz.
No, this is something else.
This has to be a piece of evergreen content, probably a family film or a comfort rewatch that just continuously finds an audience. And that kind of steady, reliable content is arguably just as valuable as the massive short-lived hits.
It provides stability. Now let's move to the most fascinating piece of data, I think, for the strategic learner listening to this.
Okay.
This is where the simple distinction between views and hours viewed exposes a major strategic truth about streaming metrics. We need to focus on ranks 04, 05, and 06.
This is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at how content length is leveraged right in the middle of the pack.
We start with rank 04, good performance, 8.3 million views. Runtime is 1 hour 31 minutes, so the total engagement is 12.6 million hours viewed. That's a pretty standard conversion.
Makes sense. Then rank 05. The viewership drops, as you'd expect, 5.7 million views. Consequently, the total hours viewed drops down to 9.8 million.
Everything seems logical so far. Fewer people start it, you get fewer total hours.
Again.
But then you hit rank 06. This film had the lowest initial viewership of those three, only 5.4 million views. That's 3 million fewer people who hit play than rank 04.
Yet rank 06 had a runtime of 2 hours and 30 minutes. Just like that massive #1 film, this is a long production.
And that length fundamentally alters its standing in the core engagement metric. Despite attracting 3 million fewer viewers than rank 04,
It generated
13.4 million hours viewed.
Okay, wait, I need to pause on that. A film watched by 5.4 million people created more collective time on the platform than a film watched by 8.3 million people.
Yes.
That's over 800,000 extra hours of collective viewing time just because it was almost an hour longer.
That is the structural anomaly, and it is the key takeaway. It illustrates that a streaming service can, strategically, prioritize this high-quality, long-form content that keeps a smaller audience captive for longer.
And it pays off in the metrics.
And that content will statistically rank higher in engagement than a shorter, more popular title. It's an inventory management strategy, really. You maximize the usage of the inventory you have.
This really raises the question we'll end on, but it's amazing how this data shows that tension between how many subscribers you have versus how much time you keep them logged in.
Absolutely. And the data at the lower end confirms this pattern too, just at a smaller scale. Ranks 07 through 10 range from about 5.3 million views down to 3.5 million.
And I see that rank 09 and rank 10 actually shared that bottom view count of 3.5 million.
They did, but the runtime still gave one the edge, right?
Let me guess. Rank 09 was longer.
Correct. Rank 09, with a runtime of 1 hour 47 minutes, generated 6.2 million hours. Rank 10, shorter at 1 hour 35, generated 5.5 million hours.
So even a 12-minute difference.
Even a 12-minute difference in runtime makes a difference of 700,000 collective hours globally. Every single minute counts in this business.
The data really does tell the story of time. Okay, now that we've established that longer films fundamentally change how success is measured, let's switch gears and look at the actual titles influencing these trends.
Yeah, let's pull from the promotional materials, because we need to look beyond the pure metrics and understand the content strategy. For instance, the enduring presence of Frankenstein is mentioned.
The news materials note it stays on top.
And crucially, Netflix isn't just letting it sit there. They're heavily promoting the prestige angle, offering a specific making-of video that details Guillermo del Toro's creative process.
That's classic content strategy for prestige IP.
It is. They're leveraging auteur theory, the idea that the director's vision is key to sell the film not just as entertainment, but as, cinema worthy of study.
Which appeals to a certain kind of subscriber.
A high-value subscriber base interested in that creative depth. It drives engagement through supplemental learning.
It elevates the whole platform's perceived quality. And of course, the strategy needs to be diverse. We also see the clear early arrival of seasonal content with A Merry Little Xmas.
The source is highlighted as heralding the holidays.
Right, and that early placement is so strategic. They are positioning their holiday offerings well ahead of the traditional December rush, making sure they get maximum sampling time.
And the trailer's already available, which confirms they're trying to embed this into the cultural conversation early. They want to guarantee high viewership when the holiday binge-watching really peaks.
And we can't forget the library films. We saw a specific deep dive video promotion for the Liam Neeson action thriller The Marksman.
And that's a crucial insight into how they treat licensed content. Liam Neeson is a reliable, known quantity, global appeal.
The dad movie.
The perfect dad movie. By creating specialized promotional content around these library titles, Netflix is refreshing existing assets. They drive views and hours without needing to spend on new production. It's just very efficient content recycling.
So we've covered the hits and the stabilizing content. Let's look forward now. What films and projects is Netflix actively prioritizing for launch in the next few weeks? This shows us where the big promotional budget is focused.
We see a comprehensive, a really high-stakes promotional blitz centered on an animated project called K-pop Demon Hunters. This is a model for 21st century IP expansion. They aren't just selling this show itself.
No, they're building an entire universe around it. They're pushing related podcasts. They released a guide that goes beyond the screen called Couch Snacks to Korean Feasts. They have behind the scenes the full trailer.
That Couch Snacks guide is fascinating. It's niche marketing designed to capture a specific lifestyle audience. K-pop is a global phenomenon, and by linking the content to food, to lifestyle, they're encouraging fans to integrate the show into their real-world experience.
They're not just selling a movie, they're selling a cultural relevance engine.
Exactly.
And the sources even dropped a surprising detail about its stars, EJAE and Mark Sonnenblick, being mentioned in relation to a Grammy-nominated Golden.
Which suggests a major musical component is part of the package. It indicates a commitment to cross-genre success. It positions the title as premium, star-driven, and musically significant.
Justifying that huge marketing spend.
It does. And beyond that, the promotional trailers hint at 2 major future film releases, showing their breadth of strategy.
First, the prestige auteur-driven side of things. There's a major trailer drop for Kathryn Bigelow's new thriller, A House of Dynamite.
And look at the stars.
Starring powerhouse talents Idris Elba and Rebecca Ferguson.
That combination just signals a major investment in established critical talent. Bigelow is known for gripping, high-stakes cinema. Promoting this so aggressively confirms Netflix is committed to competing directly with theatrical studios for those prestige, adult-driven thrillers.
And then on the other side of the spectrum, they're focusing heavily on global animated content. There's a behind-the-scenes look at In Your Dreams.
And they specifically detail the animation, emotion, and imagination involved.
Why is that important?
Well, animation is just crucial for global market penetration, especially with family demographics. By highlighting the emotional and imaginative components, they're emphasizing high-quality storytelling that transcends language barriers.
So it can have that potential longevity, like that 22-week runner we saw earlier.
Exactly. It's built for the long haul.
Okay, let's wrap up this deep dive into Netflix strategy. If you, the listener, had to walk away with 2 primary insights from this week's data, what are they?
Insight number 1. The overwhelming, almost non-comparable dominance of that single top title, The Beast in Me. It proves that when a viral hit lands, the impact on views and hours viewed is exponential.
And insight number 2, the operational significance of the runtime metric. The example of Ranko 6 clearly showed us that a longer film, even one that fewer people start watching, can be structurally leveraged to generate more total engagement than a shorter, more popular title.
It truly changes the definition of success. So we leave you with this final provocative thought, building on all this data. Given that a firm's total collective engagement, its hours viewed, is so heavily influenced by runtime, which metric should a successful streaming service ultimately prioritize? The sheer number of new users it pulls in, views, or the total time it keeps existing users logged in and engaged, hours viewed?
Think about that operational tension the next time you see a 2.5-hour film dominate the charts. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.